Let's preview some of the big games this week in college football for week 5. Let's start with Oregon, Penn State, probably the biggest game of the week, I would say personally. But who do you have winning this one? And where do you lean, actually?
Yeah, so I think that a lean is definitely the way to put this game because both of these teams are two of the best in the country. I think that at any given point, if the resumes were all equal, you could consider these like top 3 to 4 teams in the nation at this point. Dante Moore has looked really good, like we talked about in the last segment. Drew Aller hasn't looked as good, but it's not he hasn't had to. He's played Villanova, FIU, and it just hasn't had to be there for Drew Aller. I think that the defense is really shined for both these sides in both these games. In this game, like the defense for Penn State is one of the best in the country, has a lot of returners, and also has a lot of talent on that side of the ball. But as Oregon is my national champion pick, I think that I have to stick by them through this game. And personally, I won't mind if they win or lose this game. I have just a theory about the Big Ten championship being completely irrelevant, but I won't go too deep into that. Oregon is my lean. I really like Dante Moore. I really like this defense. I really like Dan Lanning. I think that they'll get it done on a wider scale and winning the national championship this year. And I think they can also get it done this weekend.
Yeah, I think I think Oregon is my lean too. I think this is the time where we really figure out if returning all of those starters on a playoff team does actually present wins this season. We talked about this in the offseason, and it seems like it's such an obvious indicator, right? You would think totally if you're returning so many guys from last year's playoff team that you're going to be one of the favorites to win. But I'm just a little bit skeptical and curious of whether or not that actually comes to fruition every single year, especially if you're not a team that won the national championship or anything like that. I'm starting to look at Penn State more so as I don't think that James Franklin needs this win or anything like that. I've heard that. I don't think that that's the case. But last year they beat SMU and Boise State in the playoffs. I have a little bit of a pushback on this team is going to be a bona fide playoff team. They're the second best team, no doubt about it, in the Big Ten. I like what Oregon is looking like. Neither of these teams have been challenged. So, we've said that Dante Moore's played well. Neither of them have been challenged. So we're going to see and learn more on Saturday. But I would say definitely my lean and my gut is telling me, hey, look, this Penn State team is very talented. Drew Aller, maybe, he's got a really low QBR. We talked about that off air. But, he's good. But, am I trusting him over Dante Moore right now? No, and not right now. So I'm going to go with Oregon. And I think that they have enough. I think that they win this game, but I think it's close regardless.
Yeah, I don't have any disagreements there. I think that this game will be. I think that you made will be close regardless. And the point I was just about to say is that I think that you made a good point with James Franklin. I don't think that this is a game that he necessarily needs to win. I think that both these teams will be competitive towards the end, and they both have big games coming up regardless of the outcome of this game. So this isn't a must win for James Franklin. But just in terms of getting that narrative off your back, everybody will be talking it into this game. The pre-game narrative is always, will James Franklin win a big one? And this would just be a good one for the whole team's morale to get James Franklin this win, and then go into upcoming games with just a better mindset, having a top 10 win in Oregon, one of the best teams in the nation.
All right, Alabama, Georgia. Kalen DeBoer really feels like the tide is turning narrative-wise for him, but will they be able to go into Athens and beat Georgia?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the narrative is turning a little bit, but is that because we're 4 weeks away since they played at FSU and just got absolutely dismantled, and then we're able to beat up on schools that aren't really competitive in football right now. Wisconsin, the latter end of that, and they've been up and down for years on end, but I don't see it with this Alabama team, and I don't really see it with Kalen DeBoer this year, unfortunately. I think that this Georgia team is a little too talented, and Gunnar Stockton is definitely at least a step above what he was last year, and so I think that this Georgia team just gets it done. Like we talked about this off air, Georgia doesn't lose at home. They have the longest home winning streak in the country, and that's something to be said. Athens is one of the toughest places to play, and do I trust Ty Simpson to go into Athens off of this team that's so freshly remembers Ryan Williams going for almost 200 yards against them last year and having that crazy spin move that won them that game? I think this game goes differently. I think that Georgia's definitely the play here, and I think that they probably win convincingly.
I think all of these games today that we're talking about are going to be close, but yeah, I'm sticking chalk here, and I'm going to say Georgia. I think that Tennessee win does a lot for them. I think they showed that they have some offensive firepower that is legit, and Alabama too. At the same time, in the same breath that Georgia's won 33 games in a row at home, or I believe 33. And then since 2019, right? Like that is a major streak. In that same breath, Alabama also hasn't been great on the road in Kalen DeBoer's era. They obviously lost that game against Florida State at the beginning of the year. They played really bad last year in Norman late in the season. And I just don't really buy them on the road. And I don't think a couple of that with Georgia's dominance at home. And I also just think Georgia's the better team. And I think that they have the better coach. I don't see it from them, but I do think that they're very talented, and they were able to get some of those confidence boosting games. Like we mentioned against Wisconsin, who's just has a bit of a mess of a program right now, which I think helps them. But and it'll help them keep this game close. But I just don't think that they'll be able to beat Georgia. It is too much for me to say that they will. But I think in classic kind of Alabama fashion, even under Kalen DeBoer, I think they'll keep it closer than a lot of people might think.
Yeah, I did say that they were going to win convincingly towards the end of that. Would it surprise me if Alabama goes out here and is it keeps it within a one-score game and it's a back and forth game? Not at all. But I truly just don't see it with Ty Simpson and Kalen DeVore this year, and I think that those confidence boosters can go only so far. When the Georgia has confidence boosters of their own, and their confidence boosters aren't UL Monroe and Wisconsin. Their confidence booster is a win in a tough environment at Rocky Top, and one of the best games we've seen all season. So I think that Georgia is able to win this one. Is able to win this one.
LSU Ole Miss, the 4 versus 13 matchup. If my memory serves me correctly, who do we got in this game?
Yeah, so I have LSU in this one, sticking chalk like we were doing earlier, but I don't I could definitely see this one being like a very close game, and I don't think that that this is a blow up by any means. I think that the fact that they're probably going to have to go to Trinidad Chambliss again at Ole Miss. I don't know. I don't really see the hype as much as some other people do, and I think that LSU defense is really good at football. So we'll see how that ends up turning out. But I'm not really on the Garrett Nussmeier hype train either. I don't really believe in either of these quarterbacks. So do I think that this could be a low scoring, very tight game? I definitely think that that's how this game could go. Even though Lane Kiffin wants the exact opposite with all the shenanigans that are going on over there, he wants us to take the over. I don't really see it happening, especially against LSU defense that is so talented. And I think Ole Miss can hold up their end of the bargain too, especially with Garrett Nussmeier not reeling, but not playing particularly well this season. Definitely, at least for his draft stock, kind of tanking that a little bit.
I think Garrett Nussmeier, honestly, my lean here is that he's going to be better this week than we have seen him in the first handful of weeks. And I like Ole Miss, but I just don't know if they have the same ceiling as LSU because of LSU's defense. One of the better, not surprises this season has been just how dominant that defense has been, being able to force DJ Lagway into 5 turnovers, kind of just stomping on Clemson's offense too for most of that game is really impressive to me, despite how both of those other team seasons have went. And I think it's a good bulletin board material for LSU to be underdogs in this game. And I'm seeing on ESPN Bet, I am seeing Ole Miss favored. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, I'm seeing Ole Miss favored -1.5 ESPN Bet.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then I think that maybe it's not as chalky as I thought it was going to be. I didn't really realize exactly what the line was, but I think that LSU goes out and wins this ball game. So yeah. Maybe we're riding with the underdog here.
Yeah, no, I guess we are. It's a little bit surprising. LSU opened as the favorite, so that's why I was kind of tripping up over it too. But yeah, Ole Miss is now the favorite -1.5, so it's flipped with that. But yeah, I think we both said our case there for LSU. Did you have anything else on it really quick?
Yeah, I just also last thing on LSU, or from the Ole Miss perspective, they were also in a shootout with Arkansas a couple weeks ago, and I understand that Arkansas has improved from at least last year, but I don't think that is convincing enough. And Tulane is supposed to be one of those teams that could be coming out of the group of 5 as that 12th team in the playoff, but still, shootouts with Kentucky and Arkansas in back-to-back weeks also doesn't do enough for me. I really want to see them against good competition. We'll see it this week if they're able to get it done at home versus LSU. Good on them, and I could there's a world where that happens, but LSU is definitely the lean here, at least for me.
Let's go with a sneaky game this weekend. Ohio State, Washington. Washington should be ranked. So you got a lot of whispers coming around, but will they be able to rise to the occasion and beat Ohio State, who's on the road?
Yeah, so the most interesting point I had on this game was the fact that Washington it has been a sneaky little program for years on end now, for dating back to like I remember like when Myles Gaskin was on that team in like 2018, he former Miami Dolphins legend. But even before then, Washington's been a good team in the Pac-12 and now in the Big Ten. And from their Big Ten to Pac-12 to Big Ten transfer, they haven't lost a home game. They have 22 home. Their home winning streak is 22 games now, only second to Georgia. And I think that definitely plays into it. That is an intense home environment. And just in general, the year over year, they haven't lost there since 2022. So it's definitely an interesting game. I think that Ohio State still wins it, but this game could be a lot closer than a lot of people think it's going to be. And especially if Ohio State's anything more than, I don't know exactly what the line is right now, but 10 plus point favorites. I think that Washington could just definitely be a lean, at least on the spread.
Yeah. Could this be a game where Julian's saying on the road, Washington's got a great home winning streak as well? Could this be a game where he potentially struggles? Is that what we see? Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, are they not going to be enough to bail him out? I think that's Washington's angle here. And you're right. They've had a very solid program for a lot of years. Chris Peterson was there when you were thinking about that 2018 era. He obviously isn't the coach now. They had a bit of a hiccup, but it seems like they're really kind of coming back into the fold. This team should be ranked, so that's why it looks a little bit deceiving as well. I don't think that I buy into Washington being able to shut down the Ohio State offense in a sense. So that's why I still would take the Buckeyes here. But I can I could get the spread here in a second, but I definitely think that this is a game where it's Washington. Washington keeps it within a touchdown here, final score.
Yeah, and this Washington offense has been dynamic this year. They played in the Apple Cup just last week, and it's one of those like matchups where I feel like it has to be towards the end of the season because we had some great Apple Cup games where like it was snowing and it was just a lot of fun between Washington State and Washington. That game is a rivalry game, though. Those teams don't like each other, and Washington just absolutely blew the brakes off Washington State. The final score is 59-24. Washington State was never really close, and they just Washington blew it open in the fourth quarter, scoring 28 points unanswered. So this Washington team should be ranked and is one of those teams that like is on the fringe of being ranked and is probably not like looked at as highly because they don't have a number next to their name, but is a good team and could finish like definitely in the top 25. So this game could definitely be closer than expected. I'd still lean Ohio State. Ohio State's defense has too many good players on it, and then their offense is just like has possibly one of the best players we've ever seen in college football. So I don't think you can go away from them even with Washington's long home winning streak. But I think this game would be closer than a lot of people expect.
Maybe if we saw Washington against a better opponent so far this year, I think I'd be willing to say so, but I just don't know what their ceiling is. And it's going to be too much for me to say that their potential ceiling could be beating Ohio State. I think that that's too far. Ohio State favored by 9.5 points. I do think Washington could keep it under that. So for what it's worth, I think they at least cover. Let's move into USC, Illinois. Illinois just had maybe one of the worst showings that they have had as a decent squad in the history of their program. Legitimately 63-10 drubbing against Indiana, and USC is coming off of a decent or good win against Michigan State. So kind of the tale of two programs. They intersect as a top 25 matchup here in the Big Ten. Who do we got?
Give me Luke Altmaier to bounce back and win this game against USC. I think that there are a lot of people on this USC train, one of the best offenses in the country. And I don't know. I just have a feeling that Illinois is going to bounce back this week, and they're gonna take it to USC. Maybe not take it to USC, but I think that at least take Illinois on the spread. There's a reason why even after such a bad loss last week, only 7.5 point dogs. And this is with that spread getting a little bit crazier because of the fact that everybody's on USC's hype train right now. I think that they'll keep it closer than a lot of people expected, especially after that Indiana loss. Like everybody's ripping on Illinois right now. Give Luke Altmaier, give me him hot take to win this USC game.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go the other way. And I appreciate you for making the end of this video very interesting, at least. This opened at 1.5 for USC, and it's now at 6.5. So I will say that type of movement is pretty crazy just to see. But I would say USC probably covers that as well. From what I saw against Illinois, from what I saw from Illinois against Indiana, I just don't trust them to play with the quote unquote big dogs of this conference anymore. I understand they were on the road and Indiana was just smelled blood. They felt like they had to make a statement. And I do like Luke Altmaier. But with all of that being said, USC is balanced. They run the ball extremely well. And the pass game is there. Lincoln Riley feels like he's finally building a little bit of momentum with this USC team. And I think it's just the wrong time for Illinois to have a game after losing by 53 points. I think they would love to have had a tune-up game here. And I think this is the wrong team to do it against. USC, I also think, wants to make a statement and dunk on Illinois. I think that's going to happen again here. I don't think it's going to be 63-10 by any means, but I'm thinking 35-17 type of game. I think this USC offense can score a little bit on Illinois. I don't really see Illinois winning this game.
They come back to their home fans, and what do they want more than anything after losing by 53 points? They want to win. God damn it. Give me Illinois to beat the fight. Give me the Illinois to beat the fight-ons, bro. Like they're taking this one. I feel good about it. Plus 195, smack the money line, do what you have to do.
Oh my gosh.
Illinois comes all the way back from a disappointment last week. And this is their tune-up game, bro. This is their get right game.